All right.
Are we recording already?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit. I'm all waiting. This week and go over a couple different things and just trying to change up the topics a little bit, get off of sports a little bit. We might touch on a few things if we have some extra time at the end.
Yeah.
But so I wanted to ask your thoughts. Like, first of all, do you know what dine and dash is? Have you ever heard that term?
Yeah, I've heard it. I don't really know what it means.
So it's like it was like a real popular thing back in the day, where like you say you go to Denny's, and then after your meal, like someone gets up. And they act like they're going to go to the restroom, but they really go get in the car and they keep it running.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of the people get up and they fucking dash out the front door, jump in the car and they take off. They don't pay.
Oh, wow.
So that's called dine and dash. So like it was like a big thing back in the day when like people didn't have money.
Right.
You would dine and dash. You fucking order a big ass meal, fill up, and then you'd like, oh, okay, I got to step away and fucking someone go get the car running.
Uh-huh.
And they all just fucking run out.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up, dude.
So what are your thoughts? Like, no?
Imagine,
hard no?
I mean, what do you mean thoughts on? I would never do some shit like that. I imagine just being a waitress being like,
motherfucker.
Fuck, dude. God damn it, Todd. Third one this week, motherfucker. Put a lock on that bitch.
So, I have an uncle. I'm not going to say his name. My cousins that are watching know exactly who I'm talking about. So, what he used to do is he'd always go, like, with this girl.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, let's say I went with mom.
Right.
We order our food. We all eat. We're having a good meal. And then before the meal's almost over, I'd grab a loose hair from your mom's head, stir it in my food a little bit, and then act like I'm taking a bite. He would act like he's taking a bite. And then start, like, drastically loud as fuck.
Oh,
crazy. What the fuck, man? Throw a big-ass scene. Manager would have to come over. There's a fucking hair in my food. It's fucking disgusting. Sir, don't worry about it. It's on us. I apologize. Your meal's free. Damn fucking right. This is fucking bullshit.
Oh.
And get the meal free.
That's fucked up, too.
It's not technically a dine and dash, but it's like...
You got somebody fired. What color was mom's hair at the time?
No, I'm saying, like, I was using me as an example, but my uncle would do that.
Oh
I've never done it.
God. So whoever had his girl's fucking hair color was getting fucking fired.
In the fucking back, the waitress or something.
It's all fucking straight. You know who straightened their hair today? Daphne. You're
Daphne,
fucking done.
Get the fuck out of here,
Get the
Daphne.
fuck out of here.
You nasty bitch. You're supposed to be wearing a hairnet, Daphne.
That's fucked up, dude.
I wonder if that's where the rule came, where our food service workers are supposed to wear hairnets and stuff.
That could be it.
But it could come from anywhere. Like, you could, before you came to work, it could be on your shirt.
Right.
Put your hairnet on, you're cooking and shit, and it fall off. But he would grab his girl, whoever he was out with, and he'd fucking put in his food and just throw a big-ass scene. Like, I want to talk to the manager. This is fucking bullshit.
That's
and the manager
crazy.
would be like, oh, my God, sir, I'm so sorry. The meal's on us. This never happened before.
Oh,
You're fucking
my
right.
God.
This is bullshit. And fucking would bounce out without having to pay.
Dude, that's crazy. That's fucked up, dude. Many people that probably got fucking fired, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Well, they probably, like, deny it, too. Like, how do you know it was me? Like,
yeah, what the fuck?
You a fucking forensic scientist? You could tell my DNA in the hair? Like,
right.
Until that day, no, it wasn't me.
So you said that's a back in the day thing. What's changed?
I think people are just more on it. So, like, they probably, maybe how they have the hostess in the front.
Right.
People try and bounce out. They're probably like, hey, what the fuck are you doing?
Right. They got cameras maybe in there
maybe,
now,
yeah.
Too.
Security's
Shit,
probably heightened. People still do that shit. It's
right.
just a little bit more like you wouldn't do it in your own town. You'd probably if you're out of state or something.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like on Dumb and Dumber. Remember he was like, "Hey, Skidmark said he's gonna pick up our meal." He's like,
Dude.
"Skidmark said that? Yeah, that's Skidmark over there." And he's like, the other dude's fucking grabbing Slim Jims and shit. Yeah, he's gonna pay for this shit.
Dude, that's fucked, man.
It's kind of like,
it's smart as fuck,
yeah,
dude.
it's kind of ingenious. Like, whoever thought of that shit was like, that's fucking some sneaky, conniving shit.
Yeah. Whoever
But
thought
let's do
about
it.
that was fucking struggling, though.
Yeah.
Whoever first came up with that shit was fucking struggling.
And it might the first few people probably might have not have done it out of being an asshole. And maybe like
Right.
they were struggling, like, fuck, I'm hungry.
Right.
I can't pay for this, but I'm fucking starving. You know, me and my family, my kids are starving.
Right.
We gotta bounce out after this shit. Like, I can't cover the bill.
Right.
You know, or maybe they didn't even tell the kids,
Mhm.
and then the wife gets the kids in the car, and the husband's like, gonna act like he's gonna pay any fucking bones out. And then dickheads eventually were like, oh shit, and they
Right.
probably started doing it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised you never heard of that term, dine and dash.
I've heard of it. I just didn't know what it like entailed.
There's been a few times
I'm pretty
at
sure I knew it
restaurants-
at some point. I knew, but I forgot for sure.
There was a few times at restaurants I'd fuck around and say that to you guys, like, you guys ready for the dine and dash? And you guys would like laugh, but
Right. And then I remember you've explained it to me before. I just didn't fucking remember it.
yeah, like that's some fucking fucked up shit right there, dude.
Yeah. To change the subject though, it's gonna be a fucking hard left. You ready?
Oh,
Like we're on a road. Unless you got something else.
one more.
All right, go.
Just to go into that, one more. So the other thing I was gonna say is, what are your thoughts? That one's kind of like a fucking shitty situation. That's why you didn't
Right.
know what you thought. What are your thoughts on tipping, like rude or bad waitresses? Like, do you think you should still have to give them a tip? And I think a lot of people battle this in their head.
Right.
You know, because there's been times mom will complain about the waitress, but yet she still leaves the 20% tip or whatever it is.
Right.
And I'm like, fuck that. You know, like, they didn't even refill our drink.
Uh-huh.
Bitch was rude, fucked up our order. Like, why should I give you a tip?
Yeah, that's a for me personally, when I ever get to that position, hopefully I'm not living off my sister's paycheck in the future, but for me personally, it would be like I'm a very observant person.
Yeah.
So when it comes to me, I'd have to like, all right, how many tables is she picking up?
Yeah.
How many people are in here? You know, maybe like, oh, like she looks like she's having a bad fucking day, or like
Yeah.
she's in the corner like fucking sulky and shit. Like I would have to like, but if I knew it was a fucking asshole, like she was a bitch, I might like not. I wouldn't give her as much or him as much. But I definitely would do it as like a fuck you. Like you
Yeah.
treated me like shit. I hope you know you treated me like shit. But here you go, anyways, motherfucker. That's the kind of person I am.
Yeah, like there's been times like where you could tell, like you said, yeah, like they're struggling. Like I get that,
Right.
you know, and they're super nice still. But if they're rude as fuck and they're
Mhm.
like, okay, I get you're having a bad day, and you're struggling,
Right.
but how the fuck is that my fault?
Right.
How is that my fault? Like if you can't handle customer service, or if that table's being rude as fuck to you,
Right.
don't take that shit out on me,
Yeah,
and
for
then
sure.
expect me to still leave you a tip. Fuck that.
Yeah, that's a good point too. I don't know. It's definitely, you know.
I used to have a homeboy that would like still on the same subject but different. When we were leaving restaurants,
Mhm.
he'd like pass by tables and grab the tips from other people that left them and put them in his
No.
pocket and keep walking.
That's fucked up too.
Yeah. It's only like a few bucks here and there, but like he's like, fuck.
Holy
You know what I mean?
shit,
Or
dude.
if you sit down, we've sat down at a table before and they haven't cleaned it up yet, and the tip's there from the previous people.
Mhm.
You just kind of like put it aside and you leave that as a tip, like you're tipping them that.
Wow.
You know, but it's the previous person's tip.
Dude, that money adds up too for like waiters and shit.
Oh yeah, some of them they live off that shit.
Right.
And there's some people that are good as fuck at being a waiter.
Right.
Where you're like, hell yeah, this is a fucking good dude or a good chick. Like she's fucking awesome, dude. Like
Right. She's
I have
killing
no
it.
problem leaving this fucking tip, you know.
Right.
They talk to you and they try to get to know you and shit like that, and it's just not about the food, you know.
Right.
Like I for sure.
Yeah, it would be like it would depend on a lot of shit.
Yeah.
It would depend on like a lot of
I just
and
hate
also, so here's an interesting conversation I was having. So me, my best friend Lucian, and my best friend Isaiah were in a call yesterday, and when it hits midnight, we'll play all day. But when it hits midnight, that's when we just start talking about some shit. Like from that point onward, we're talking about shit. We
What do
talked
you
about,
mean?
huh?
Like what do you mean? Like
As soon
you
as
go-
like
you
we'll
go
stop
off of
playing.
sports and then the game and then you go into like personal shit or
We'll play the game, and then at around midnight, if we've been playing all day, we'll get tired of playing games, or we'll go and play our own games, and then we'll just talk.
okay.
So, like, for an example, last night, as soon as it hit midnight, we stopped playing COD, and we started talking about, you know, the Civil War and like, rules in China. Like, there was, like, we found out, like, we were looking it up, like, this is why I love my fucking friends. Especially this is why I'm, like, I'm so happy to have Lucian in my life, because he's such a smart kid, and I fucking love shit like that. So like whenever we go down and talk about like, oh, did you know there was a law? Like, so we found out there was a law. I found out recently. You probably know this, but I found out that there's a law in China that you could only have 2 kids over there.
Yeah.
And then I heard another law that
And then there's something with the sexes, like they're not allowed a certain amount of, like only allowed a certain amount of boys or girls or one of those.
Right, it's weird. And then I heard another law that I think it just got instated recently that they're adding a curfew to gaming.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so like if you're under 18, that you have a curfew. So like on the weekends you can't play. You can only play from 8 to 9.
In
and
China?
In China.
Yeah, because I know like the reason why a lot of the Asians are really really smart is their school's longer.
Right.
Like they literally go from 9 to 9. Like they're
right.
a 12-hour school thing. Like
right.
they're fucking there all day.
It's fucking miserable, over there, bro.
And that's why they're so fucking smart. And those are our doctors and shit because they're
right.
That's all they're allowed is in the fucking books.
Yeah. It's fucking miserable over there. I was joking with Lucian. I was like, bro, like, it makes me realize, like, not only am I privileged as a white straight male, but also like, I'm privileged to be living in the U.S. with like some fucking fire parents because it like if you guys made a rule like that, like the curfew thing on the weekends from 8 to 9 and then that's it. Like if you made that a rule in this household, I'd be fucking bitching. But the whole fucking country has to follow that. Dude, I was like, dude, I feel fucking blessed.
Well, I might have to invoke that rule now that you refer to yourself as a white male. You know,
well,
your father is full-blood Mexican.
I've always said my skin is white, but everything else is Mexican. Like I'm like my blood, my heart, everything else is Mexican, but my skin is white. So like, I mean, that's just I don't know.
I know, I'm just being a smart.
Yeah. But so we talked about that, and then we talked about how anybody who has a Confederate flag or like wears that proud is just fucking racist. If you have a Confederate flag, you are just racist.
Yeah, because the reason you're using it.
The reason, but we look like we were talking about. We're like, yo, do you know what the Confederates went to war for?
Yeah.
They fought for slavery.
Yeah, to keep it.
They wanted slaves, and they were waving that shit around in the Civil War.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo. So like we've met, me and Isaiah especially. Fucking sucks for Isaiah. He's like, you know, he's a black kid living in a fucking whatever. So it's like it's already like it fucking bothers me when I have to like hear racist shit when it comes to like my black friends. Yeah. But we fucking met like some like people like some fucking hardcore racist people. They were throwing slurs around, and then we ended up joining their call and just fucking baking them. Like we were roasting the fuck out of them. And these motherfuckers were trying to tell us that the Confederate flag didn't make you racist. And it's like, yo, like, either you don't know your history, or you're just fucking stupid, or you're just a closeted fucking racist. Because that's literally what that flag represents. It's literally what they went to fucking war for was slavery. Like, they literally fought to whip fucking black people with whips. That's what they fought for.
Yeah, use them as servants and shit.
Right, like,
slaves.
Slaves, that's literally what they fought for. They fought to fucking enslave and fucking kill and fucking whip fucking black people. That's what that flag represents. So if you fucking wear that Confederate flag around, and the words of fucking Phineas, fuck the Confederate flag.
Yeah.
So sorry. Anyways,
did they have any other points to why it wasn't, or they just kept on saying no, it's not, no, it's not?
No, it's not. It's like the fucking. It's like Trump supporters. I've met some good Trump supporters who were like had some good reasonings for why they wanted Trump in presidency.
Yeah, I got friends
where they're just like, you know what, they were like reasonable. They're like, yo, he's a fucked up person. He did fucked up shit, but like his laws are gonna put me and my family in a better position. And then I'm like, okay, I respect that.
Yeah.
But then there are just people who are blatantly just fucking.
Yeah,
like
they like him because of the racial shit that he pulled.
Yeah, the racial shit and just the fucked up shit where it's like, hey, like, do you not see that you're encouraging like the modern day fucking Hitler at this fucking point? Like, you give him too much power. This dude's about to go fucking crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thank God that's not it. There's the fucking dislikes. Go fuck yourselves.
Yeah,
Anyways,
we'll get a couple on that one probably.
But what we talked about, we were saying Lucian made a very good point that I want your opinions on. He goes, it's kind of ridiculous how being prejudiced can make you racist or make you, sexist or something. He's like, everybody is prejudiced. Everybody has a first impression.
Yeah.
If anybody meets you, just by the way you look, they're gonna be prejudiced and they're gonna prejudge you. They're gonna be
That's
like,
where prejudice comes from. Prejudge. Like,
right? They're
prejudge
gonna judge you. They're gonna automatically go in the brain like, oh, this guy's mean.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this guy's gonna be an asshole
It's
or something. I
called
don't know.
Unconscious bias.
Right, and it's like
Yeah.
everybody has prejudice. That's why there's a first impression. That's why when your fucking mother's like, hey, we're going to dinner with somebody, like, dress good, it's for that. Because you want to look good, you want to present yourself well, because everybody has prejudice.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that? Like, he was like, it doesn't matter what, like, race you are or what sex you are or what your orientation is. Like, I'm going to see you and I'm going to prejudge you.
Yeah.
I'm going to be either right or wrong, but I'm going to make an assumption.
Yeah.
So I forget where that conversation sparked from, but I thought it was really an interesting take that I didn't really take into consideration. We all prejudge, I feel like. What do you think about that?
Unless you get to know that person, like, perception is reality.
Right.
If someone perceives of you, they will make that the reality until you change it by introducing yourself and you get to know that person.
Right.
That's just the way it is.
Right.
You know, like, I've had in my field, we joke about it, but it's like for real. Like, so many times in my job, people have told me after a while, like, I never wanted to come and approach you and talk to you.
Right.
And I'm like, well, why? And they're like, oh, you just look like you're mean. You know, you always look pissed off. And I'm like, no, I get deep in thought sometimes, and I'll be thinking about something. And I hate it too when I'm walking and I see somebody wave from the side. Right. I'm so deep in thought what I'm doing or trying to get to the point where I'm going, and then I think, oh shit, I seen him waving. I know they know that I seen, and I forgot, and I create this perception that I'm a dick, and I'm not. Right. You know, and when you get to know me, you're like, man, Eric's one of the coolest dudes ever. Right. You know, but that's with anybody. Until you get to know someone, that's just, you know, we could walk down the street and see someone on the corner, and we're gonna be like, dude, like, we look at that fucking winner, you know, like, look at that fucking dick, and he could be the coolest person ever. Right. But we'll never know because we're never gonna stop and have a conversation with that stranger. You know what I mean? Right.
And I just thought it was an interesting take because I didn't really think about it because he was like, yeah, like when you see, like, you know, a white crackhead on the street, is it racist that I'm just gonna be like, ooh, this guy's a fucking, like, he's like, no, like, you look at him, you see what the way he looks, he's maybe got a sunken face, he looks like he's out of it, you're gonna be prejudiced and you're gonna be like, this guy's a fucking like a serial, he's a tweaker, he's gonna fucking try to hurt me or something. Like, that's it doesn't matter the race, that's just by some people's appearances, no matter the skin color, no matter what, you're gonna have a prejudice with them. Yeah. You know, and we were just, I think the whole point was like, you know, being prejudiced of people doesn't make you racist because everybody's prejudiced of people they meet for the first time.
Yeah, I think there's a big line. Right. You know, being racist is just like not only prejudging them, but like you're making it in your head a fact that negativity is right. Right. But you know what I mean? Like, or saying Asians are bad drivers, you're like, you're being racist in that moment because they're not all bad drivers. You know what I mean? You're just sticking to that because you heard it somewhere, and you're making that perception your reality. Right. Then you're being racist because you're sticking to it, even though, you know. Right. See, that's what I agree with that as well. I have another question about what we talked about. We also talked about how. Because I'm going to ask you this. Mom's going to be upset, but I need to ask you this: how many first dates have you been on? First dates? How many first dates have you been on? I don't know. I've never really. Not a lot. Or a good amount. Double digits, I guess, somewhere. Okay, so perfect. So what we were talking about was, as a man, what I want to know your approach, because we all gave our different opinions on paying for the first date. Like I always does. That's how you've always paid for the first date every time? Yeah. You see, that's how I was raised. But they were talking about like so here was my thought process behind it. They made jokes. Obviously, they weren't being serious, but they said that I was being. They were like, "Oh, you're a sexist, dude. What? A girl can't pay for the like?" They were just being assholes. Yeah. But my idea. I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before. It's been fucking 21 weeks, guys. I don't know what this fuck I was talking about in episode 1. All right, I don't know what I was talking about in week 1. All right, but I'm just gonna say anyways, just in case. So my ideology with paying for dates, obviously it's going to be different from me. For me personally, it's going to be different. It's going to be case to case. I will never let the woman pay for the first date. The only middle ground to that is we're splitting. But if it's not splitting, I'm paying for it if I have the money, right? Yeah.
And I also told them that I would never even go on a date if I didn't have the money to pay for it. That's just something I wouldn't do. But so like in this instance, right? Let's say I was talking to a girl for like 3 months. We've gotten to know each other really fucking well, and then we started getting a little bit romantic, and we're going on the first date. That in that instance, I would be more inclined to pay for it, right? To pay for it first. I mean, I'm gonna pay for every date, but like I would just be more inclined to just like, I got this one.
Yeah.
And my ideology was, I remember when I first said it, they were like, okay, that was sexist. But I have this first impression with a lot of people. I'm somebody who doesn't take easy routes. I take long, like, ranting routes, like what I'm doing right now. So anytime I'll say something, you have to let me keep talking, or else it'll come off racist at first, or it'll come off sexist at first, until I get to my point. Yeah. Because I had said something on the lines of like, like, women like clean the house, they'll fucking, they'll cook for you, like they'll do all this shit for you, right? And they're like, dude, that's fucking sexist. All of them will have to be cooks, all of them have to clean, all of them have to do your dishes. I was like, no. What I'm saying is all the women that I've known, like, it's just in their DNA to take care of people. Yeah. Like, I feel like as a species, women just fucking love people. Like, they're nurturers. They're nurturers. Like, if they don't have to always cook, but they'll find a way to like take care of you, right? Yeah. So I was like, at the bare fucking minimum, they're gonna do all this fucking like. I'd like to think that the woman I want to be with is gonna do all this fucking shit for me, right? The least I could fucking do is pay for a date. That's the least I can do. You know what I mean?
So when I was going out with mom, like, yeah, I would pay for dates, but mom, she would buy me a lot of things. She bought me a lot of things. Like, she spent a lot of money on me with gifts.
Right.
Like, she would not make up for it, like, 'cause I wasn't asking her to, but she was very, like, she knew I didn't come from a rich family, so I wasn't that wealthy. So, like, I could, like, hey, we're going to go eat. Like, our first date was at Denny's, and then it was to a movie, and that was it. That's what I could afford at the time. But mom was like, had money. She grew up in money, so like she bought me a two-way pager. She bought me like a lot of fucking fancy shit.
Yeah,
So like, I guess that's a way of being 50-50.
Right.
But I never asked her to. Just mom being the way she is, like she wanted to do her part too in the relationship. She bought me a lot of things.
Right. Every woman that I've gotten to know has like at least and even in like in friends relationships and shit, like when I've had friends who were in relationships, like the fucking women just overdo it sometimes with how much they like take care of the right woman, at least.
Yeah.
Because not everybody's perfect. There's gonna be those fucking whores who are out to just fucking catch bodies, you know what I mean?
And there's also the asshole guys that just want to be like, they take advantage of a nurturing woman. They don't want to work.
Exactly. There's so many of those people.
They just want to sit at home and just like, fuck it, she's taking care of me,
Right.
Like, to me, they're like, call it ego, whatever, but like, you have to have that macho-ness to be like, nah, I'm the caregiver. I'm the lion. I'm gonna go out and bring dinner back. You know, you just gotta cook it up. Like, not like that, like saying, what I mean? But like, I'm gonna go take care of business. Right. You know what I mean? So yeah, there is that part to it.
Every woman that I've gotten to know, like, it was just like they just women hold shit down. Yeah. And every household that I've known, women hold that shit down. Yeah. And there's not to say that there aren't any single fathers out there, like fathers who maybe got abandoned by the mother. But in most cases, it does happen a lot, right? Yeah. But in most cases that I've seen, it's always the man abandoning the woman. Yeah. And then the women just hold that shit down. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And I always joked, but I'm like also very serious about it. Like, I am the grunt. Like, I just go and I bust my ass and I work. Right. And I bring a paycheck home. But mom handles all the finances. She handles the house. She handles the cooking. Like, she's got like almost a bigger role than I do. Right. Like, I just go out there and bust my ass to make sure I make as much money as possible to make us comfortable, and then mom manages it.
Right. And then mom, and also in turn, is trying to raise a young woman and trying to raise 3 men. Yeah. And that's one thing I feel like that's one thing that's been weighing on my mind recently. Like, just the lack of like parents who raise men. properly.
Yeah.
Like I was raised by real men. You know what I mean? And it bothers me because you always see like these feminists or these women, they'll be like, man, these fucking men don't get it. Or these men are not pro-choice. These men are this. Like they'll like associate like bad things guys do as like they'll categorize them as like just men. All men, right?
It's like a form of being racist, but genderist.
Well, what the point I'm making is it's not that. It's the fact that you're getting the name wrong, because to me that's not what a man was. A man isn't all these things, right? So you saying men, I would call little boys. I would call boys, guys, boys. Yeah. Those aren't men to me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like those are people that weren't raised to be men. They aren't real men to me. You know, I was raised with I was raised watching men literally just like I feel like to me real men understand that a woman has to be the one to wear the pants in the relationship. In a way. Because, and it's always that fucking like joke where it's like, oh, we know who's wearing the pants in the relationship. It's like, yeah, because women hold that shit down. Like in every household I've seen, like, dude, you're always talking about your grandmas and shit. Like women just hold that shit down. And in every household I've seen,
I wouldn't refer it to as who wears the pants though, because you're like saying one's better than the other.
Well, like, in the sense of wearing the pants is like who's wearing, like who's like.
I think it's more 50-50 because, yeah, the women do, but the men do things to make that possible. Like, if they're not bringing home that paycheck out there working, then a lot of that stuff can happen. Like, it's a 50-50. Like, in any relationship, in a marriage, it takes both. Right. You know, there are some that have to do it. They're single moms and single dads, and that's why people give them so much props because that shit's already hard as it is. To do it by yourself is like, fuck. You know what I mean? Right.
But what I'm saying is wearing the pants is more so like wearing the crown. Because the queen just sits on the throne and the servants go and work. If you think about it, like the queen like makes the rules and keeps everybody in check.
That's what I'm saying. Like you're saying
and
one
raises
higher
kids
than the other, and I don't think so. I think it's a partnership.
I disagree, but I also, I see where you're coming from. But yeah, I think that's an interesting conversation to be had, and I just think that it's fucking sick to my stomach the amount of women that I've gotten to know who've had rape stories and fucking, you know, grooming stories. It's like, dude, like this generation's really this generation of parents are really failing to raise fucking men, bro. Like, it's fucking gross. And like, I don't know, man. It just fucking bothers me. But to take a very, very left turn, like I was gonna say at the beginning, it wasn't gonna go where you thought it was gonna go. By the way, I was gonna change up the subject because this is something I wanted to talk for fucking 2 weeks now, but we just talked about sports and shit. But a very left turn from this, very, very like hard left. We watched a movie called Malignant, something.
I think you said it right the first time.
Malignant.
Yeah.
He has to rewatch it. But me and my sister watched it, and I am just hopeful for the horror genre in movies. I am just really hopeful for the horror genre in movies. Because one thing that I've always complained about with horror movies, and I'm sure we've said it on the podcast, and just movies in general, I feel like, is they just fail to be the original.
Yeah.
They just fucking rinse and repeat. Yeah. Like, they literally just use the same shit. Ghosts or fucking serial killer, right? Jump scares, right? It's possessions. It's like, we need something new. And I remember, I think I did say this on the podcast before, because that's when I was giving credit to Jordan Peele, who has come up with some original shit.
Yeah, different stuff.
Some different shit. Like, what I think these horror genres need to do is target other fears. And that's what Jordan Peele's been able to do. Like, he's like, he targeted the idea that, like, a doppelganger is fucking freaky when you think about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, imagine you have a doppelganger that looks exactly like you. You walk out onto your porch, and across the street is somebody that's fucking picture perfect and an exact replica of you, and he's out to fucking kill you. That's fucking freaky, dude.
Yeah.
That idea is fucking
fact
fucked
of
up.
Killing you is scary. Like, it's weird enough. Like, when you guys give me shit about the pitcher from the Astros looking like me.
Right.
Like, it's funny, but it's also weird, too, because then there's times he'll make a face, and I'm like, fuck. That's fucking weird. He does.
Yeah. Shout out Lance McCullers, by the way.
He does resemble me a little bit.
Yeah.
You know? And you're like, what the fuck?
Right.
But then now imagine that someone that looks just like you is coming to take you out to take over your life. You're like, wait, what?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
shit. Yeah. And it's that. And, like, also, too, like, the shit that would be going through my brain is, like, as soon as I find out that this motherfucker's trying to kill me, is like, how much alike me is he?
Yeah. Does he know my next thought or my next move? Or
Does he know MMA like I do?
Yeah.
Is he going to know my instincts, right?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, yo, if he's a mirror of me, literally everything to me, thoughts and everything, then he's got an advantage because he has the killer instinct and I don't. And he's been planning it for a while and I haven't.
Yeah.
So, like, in that idea, you're thinking, I'm fucked because he's been thinking about this for a while. He knows my instincts. He knows what I'm going to do. He's been thinking about this for a long time.
Yeah.
He's out to kill me. He's got that killer's instinct, and I don't. I was caught by surprise, and I'm still trying to process that fucking person who looks like me is trying to fucking kill me.
He also knows your fears, and he could use those against you.
Right.
You know?
Because this person's more fucked up than I am.
Yeah, like
so he's not gonna give a fuck if
he's trying to lure you into a certain way, and he thinks you're gonna run this way, and he puts a bunch of tarantulas on the floor. He knows Xander's not going that way, so I got his ass now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm fucked up, so I've lost the fear of tarantulas. So here's it for this motherfucker who's soft as shit. This guy's a pussy compared to me, and it's just like fuck.
Yeah.
You know, and it also gives the idea of like, in that situation, like, do you come out on top? Who's coming out on top?
Yeah.
Obviously, I have confidence. I'd like to think I would. I'd like to think I wouldn't be running away.
Yeah.
I'd take fucking hand-to-hand combat more than likely. And that could probably get me killed. I don't know. Like, I don't know. So it's like one of those things, like, that ideology, thinking about it fucks you up. It scares you.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? You're just like, that's scary. That's original.
It's different.
It's different. Like, that's the shit Jordan Peele does. He creates something original. Fuck. What's the director's name of Malignant? Pretty much, I'm pretty sure he made The Conjuring, and a bunch of other fucking scary ass flicks. So he can make a horror movie, right?
Yeah.
But what he was successful at in this movie. This is a movie that grows on you over time. You finish it, you'll have your initial thoughts, but the more you think about it, the more genius it becomes, and the more you like it. My sister, I loved it immediately, but my sister is a prime example of that. She was like, it's average. It was okay. And then the more she thought about it, she was like, that shit was genius. That shit was fucking wild. And that's the story of this movie. So without giving spoilers, that's the story of this movie. The fucking twists and turns. It literally.
Are you sure we didn't talk about this on the podcast? I feel like we did, or I have a crazy case of deja vu right now.
I don't think we did.
I think we did because you kept on saying I don't want to give no spoilers. Like,
did we?
Or else this is like some hardcore deja vu that I'm tripping balls on.
It's also another thing too is we've kind of gotten, this has become a norm. We haven't been like super. I don't watch my episodes.
I do.
So I don't remember.
Dude, I feel like
I'm pretty sure we could have. But that movie was fucking amazing.
You know, it'd be also a good thing to try and talk about because we joked about it and we said it in small spurts, but like to actually play it out. We always talk about like if our family was in a zombie apocalypse, like who would die first, who would get the other person killed, who would last, how they would die would probably be kind of cool.
Yeah, that one's a tough one because you have two sick kids in the house who are gonna fucking, like, there's a time cap, like we're literally not making it past maybe a year, me and Derek, without the medical supplies and shit.
Maybe.
But considering we're healthy, I don't know, man. That's a tough one.
I think I want to think that I'd last pretty long, but I think Mom would get me killed pretty quick. I'd have to help her because she'd do something dumb.
One thing, you'd have to recognize the Walking Dead effect, though.
Yeah.
Like, take in consideration the Walking Dead effect. Yeah, there's zombies, but who on this block the switch is gonna flip and they're gonna be actually fucking nut jobs? So now, like, if one of our neighbors fucking goes nuts, and it turns out he's actually like a fucking maniac, we're not only dealing with fucking zombies here. We're dealing with fucking psycho humans. You could think.
Yeah, because they start acting all weird and trying to like steal your shit.
You're right.
Yeah.
Or trying to kill people. Maybe you got fucking cannibals on this block. Who knows, dude?
What type of zombie do you like? Because there's like the slow ones, and then there's the ones that run like on
Right.
World War Z, or what is it?
Yeah, that you got it. World War Z. I'm pretty sure.
I
Yeah.
feel like that's
With Brad Pitt. Yeah.
But it feels like it's not the name. It's weird. Like or like the smart ones and like I Am Legend. Like those are kind of like zombies, right?
Right. No,
Yeah.
I would consider those zombies.
So like, what's your ideal zombie? If you're the bad guy and you're on the bad guy side and you want the perfect zombie, like what is your idea of a perfect zombie?
Like so perfect zombie isn't like the coolest, or perfect zombie is like, if this were the zombie, I feel like I'd be good.
Like the coolest.
The coolest? The coolest gotta be there's a lot of them. There's World War Z. There's the last world of zombies I'd want to live in is fucking 21 Weeks Later. Is that the movie?
Yeah, there's 28 Days Later and there's 28 Weeks Later Part 2.
Any of those zombies are fucking
nuts,
dude. They're fast. They look fucked up and scary. Like, those are the scariest zombies, I think.
I've seen movies too, like where the zombies actually are able to think and they actually plan to try and fucking take people out and shit.
Yeah, like I Am Legend's a good one. I Am Legend's pretty cool.
But there was a cure to cure those and bring people back, which was different. It was more like an
yeah, but I feel like that's the plot of every zombie movie. Is like, there's an apocalypse, we have to find the antidote, or to at least maybe not cure zombies, but to like stay immune from them.
Yeah, because I think in The Walking Dead, like everybody had it, but once you die, you come back because you have that infection in you.
Right.
So to like stop that from happening, to make sure you don't come back, you have to.
Right, and then there's that one motherfucker who was immune, and half of his face went dead, but he was still okay. I forget who was that motherfucker. That was shit, I haven't seen that show in so long. I seen an episode on AMC. I was like, let's see where The Walking Dead's at. And I'm like, dude, everything's different.
Yeah, I need to catch up.
Everything's different. I don't know if you need to, though. Like, is it good still?
I always liked it.
Are they hanging on for dear life, or are they actually putting out good shit? Because I know Negan's kind of like an anti-hero thing, I think now. Like,
oh, is he?
Maybe. Maggie, I'm pretty sure, is like the main protagonist, I think. I think there was that season where there were those guys who would dress up as zombies.
I think that's where me and Leslie left off. Like, they were hiding in a ditch, and the zombie herd was walking by, and they're hiding in like the guts of the zombies so they couldn't smell them. Right. The zombies were talking to each other, and they're like, "What the fuck?" They're talking to each other.
Yeah, the Whisperers, I think they called them.
Yeah.
Coolest zombie though, that's a good one. Because there's so many, and then you have to take in consideration the zombies I know from like video games and shit, like the Nazi zombies in Call of Duty, or.
I feel like the traditional zombie that's just fucking wants to eat your brains.
Right.
And not necessarily like in Walking Dead, they want to eat you in general.
Right.
Like the original zombie, they just wanted their brains, to eat the brains.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the original zombie is probably the dopest.
If we're thinking about the Last of Us zombies, I would consider them zombies. There's different types in that world. So there's the regular zombies that are undead guys, right? And then there's these things called clickers. Oh yeah. And clickers, they have like these what do you call? I feel like it starts with an F. Like, it's just kind of like disease, bacteria. It's on like fungus, right? They have this fungus that when they became undead, it grew over their face, so they can't see. And the reason why they call them clickers is because they make clicking noises. They're like, and they do that to try to. They do that because when they click, their like little like fungus heads. It clicks. It like bounces off the walls.
They're fungus heads.
Yeah, it bounces off the walls, so they know where they are. Like, they know when there's a wall, because that's why they click, right?
Yeah.
But their whole thing is they're called clickers. They can't see, and then they use the clicking to get around like everywhere, right? Right. They use it like on some Daredevil shit, right? But they know exactly where you have to avoid them by being quiet. So those guys are cool because you have to just sneak around them. You're like, oh fuck? And if you fuck anything up, they're turning around. They're coming at your dumbass, dude.
I feel like you can never be fully quiet like they put you in the movies.
Right.
Like on A Quiet Place, like they put sand down to get the noise from the leaves. But even when you step in sand, there's still a sound there. Mm-hmm. You know.
I think it's just quiet enough that it gets
doesn't let off enough vibration or whatever.
It doesn't let off enough vibration, but it stays in the same audio levels as like just nature and everything else.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So it just once something kind of like it's kind of like with the audio, right, where it's like talking, hey, and then it goes up, right?
Yeah.
But when it hits a certain point, that's when they start going, wait, something's abnormal about my location. There's something else here.
That makes
food.
Sense. Yeah.
So there's like the regular zombies, right, where they'll come after you and try to eat you, and The Last of Us. Then there's the clickers, and then there's these things called the bloaters, and they are like fungus, but they're just like big and fucking large, and they're like bloated up. And then when they're kind of like creepers in Minecraft. If you guys ever played Minecraft, like when they come near you, they blow up.
Or like kamikaze bombers.
Right. So like those ones are pretty cool.
Do they blow up like with an explosion or just like guts fall on you?
They'll blow up and they'll like leave like the fungus and like the infection and like bacteria.
And then that gets you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't infect you. It doesn't turn you into a zombie, but like you can't breathe it for very long, or else it will.
Huh.
So in The Last of Us, they whenever they're going out on trips and shit, they walk out with gas masks.
Got it.
But yeah, there's so many. Yeah, that's a good one, man. There's so many different cool fucking zombies.
I want to watch a zombie movie now.
Yeah.
Zombie movie. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I get these weird fucking, I don't know what you want to call it, where I just have to have something, like I get on, my shit where I have to watch a scary movie.
Right.
And for the longest time, I was waking up every early Friday mornings because you guys all sleep in late.
Right.
And that was my time to watch scary movies because Mom doesn't like them. She doesn't like the boys watching it.
Right. So even though I have very, very vivid memories of me being in a crib watching with you, I don't know if that's real or not.
I always watch scary movies. And can I tell a story about that one time you scared the fuck out of me? I was babysitting you. Mom went to go do something.
I don't care. I don't even know the story.
Yeah, you were little as fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you were in diapers still. So I was watching. What was I watching? I think I was watching Pet Sematary. And you know that's the only movie that freaks me out.
Right.
Because Zelda, the ant.
Right.
Who's played by a dude, which is fucking weird. But anyways.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, Zelda's played
That's
by a guy.
fucking. That makes it scarier.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know. I get my jollies off on that adrenaline of like, you know, that fear.
Right.
Like I like it. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, you were little, you're in diapers, and I got you to fall asleep. I think I had a few beers, and I'm like sitting there with a bowl of menudo or something. And I got you by my. We didn't have much furniture early on in our apartments. Like we weren't that wealthy, so like I was sitting on the floor and like some pillows, and I had you, and I had you fall asleep, and you fell asleep. All right, I was like, cool. He's not gonna bother me. He's not gonna watch cartoons or want to watch anything. Like he's asleep. Here's my chance to watch my scary movies.
Right.
So I'm halfway into it. It's night. It's dark. It's just me and you home, and I'm like all freaked out eating, and then all of a sudden you were laying on your back asleep, and you woke up. I don't know. You woke up and and your like eyes got really big and you went, and your head was shaking.
No.
And you like started to like get up and look at me, and I was like,
what the fuck?
Yeah, and I freaked out. I was like, hey, knock it off.
Wait, I think I do have a very, very faint memory of this.
And you were just looking at me going, and you went back to sleep, and I was like, fuck this, dude. I turned every light on in the house. I think I watched like Tom and Jerry the rest of the night. I was watching cartoons. I was like, fuck that, dude. Like, what the fuck was that all about, man?
All of the boys growing up were fucking assholes, bro. Because Derek, we called him Monster because he would do some fucking scary shit like that. But
it was just weird, dude. Like the way your head was shaking, your eyes were all big, you're all. I was like, what the fuck? And I didn't know what to do but go, hey, knock it off. And then you just like slowly stopped. We're like, and then went right back to sleep. Right back to sleep, dude. And you were out. And I was
That's
like,
fucking amazing.
All the lights came on. I fucking turned on the fucking cartoons.
Speaking of horror movies and like fucking serial killers and shit, dude, like I've gotten really into like murder investigations and shit, dude. And And have you heard about these two kids they got caught very fucking easily. They wasn't very well thought out, but it was fucking terrifying for the victims. They're called the Scream Killers. Mm-mm. So there was these two fucking teenagers, these two fucking psychotic teenagers. They were best friends in school, and they had videotapes of them being like, our first kill is so and so. Sorry, she's just perfect. She has to be the one. And tonight's the night. We're nervous, and we're going to get our first kill. And they were just fucking nuts. And they called them the Scream Killers because their whole thing was inspired by the Scream movie. So
that sounds vaguely familiar, but go ahead.
They wore like the Scream drapes that covers their entire body and shit, like the little like long drape. Which, by the way, bro, like Ghostface is fucking scary for that. Because the more you think about what he wears, the more you think about how genius and fucked up and like smart like that he was as a serial killer. Like it's almost hopeless like against Ghostface, because he wore that drape and shit that's super long, like on some Billie Eilish shit, right? Like that's super long to keep you from making out details about his physique. Mm-hmm. So you couldn't tell if he was skinny or fat because he was wearing like a drape, like a dress over his body. So you couldn't tell. You could only maybe guess his height. Yeah. But other than that, his physique was a total guessing game, so you never knew who it was.
And he was a student of all the previous serial killers and horror movies, so like he knew all. He was into that shit,
right?
Yeah.
He knew he was fucking well thought out, right? So these motherfuckers wore that. They were at a friend's house with the two people that they were gonna kill. It was this girl and her boyfriend. Fucking God rest their souls. But they were like all chatting, watching a movie, and then like, we're bored. And then they left, and they went out to the car, put the fucking costumes on. I think they had.
So they knew him.
They knew him. They were friends.
Damn.
That was their friends, dude. And that, like watching that case makes you really question the people you have around you.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, can one of my friends be like
sick in the head?
Sick in the fucking head? Like, are they gonna come in a Michael Myers costume and just fucking split me in fucking half? I don't know, dude. You know. So they were friends. Like, they were literally good friends from school. And they went out to the car, and I think they had, like, unlocked certain shit in her basement. And then they opened up the thing, went under the basement, shut off all the lights in the house. And then were throwing shit in the basement to try to get them to come down into the basement and flip the lights on so they could just fucking kill them. Yeah. But, seeing shit like that, it just makes you think, like, yo, like... Because I knew the world was fucked up. I knew it was a dark place. I know there's fucked up people. But when you hear cases like that where there's people who do that shit, like they said like the family of like the daughter, like she's at like 17 when she died. They came home and she was just like brutally fucking like blood all over her face, all over her butt, like literally drenched in blood laying on the fucking floor dead. They said that she was the only victim though, so I think her boyfriend got away. He either got away or he had left the house or something. I don't know if he died or not. If he's dead though, God rest his soul. But like, it makes you think like, yo, that's fucked up.
And it just makes you really. There's mental health out there.
Yeah.
You know, like I was showing you with the son of Sam, how he said that his neighbor's dog was telling him to fucking kill all these people.
Right.
And shit. Like it's just fucking nuts, dude.
Yeah. Like what is that? Like a schizo?
Probably schizophrenia.
So like a form of schizophrenia.
But like when they would interview that fool in fucking prison, like he was normal. He was just like, yeah, and the fucking neighbor's dog started talking to me, telling me that shit. But that was like the only weird thing about him, and then everything else he would talk and he'd be normal. Or like that one guy I was telling you that was like 6'9" or whatever, that huge motherfucker had like a crazy fucking good IQ, one of the smartest dudes you could ever meet, and it's just super nice and mellow when you talk to him. But he was a fucking cold-blooded killer. Like he was fucking killing people, having sex with their bodies. Their dead bodies, then he would chop them up and save them in the freezer, and he would eat them, like, just fucking nuts, dude. But then he was a super smart, normal fucking mellow guy, had conversations with people.
Right.
Like, intellectual conversations. Like, to your point earlier, you just don't fucking know.
Right.
And that's scary.
And those cases also help you, like, they're very hopeless when you hear them, and you're like, you get a fucked up, ugly feeling.
Oh, yeah.
But you also get, like, this feeling of, like, hope. Because, like... It helps him, like, that really opened my mind to how fucking smart people are. Because they brought these kids into the rooms, And like the ones I watched, there's this guy commenting over it, explaining what the detectives are doing or what techniques they're doing to try to get them to fess up. And it's the most 200 IQ like smart shit. Like they studied their lives to make you fuck up what you have to say so they could prove that you fucking killed the person, right? Mm-hmm. And it's fucking like watching them interview this guy, like they like you could tell like he didn't put much. He was a fucking psycho, but he was also a fucking major dumb fucking idiot because like they were like, hey, so at this time, where'd you go? And by the way, also he wasn't a very great actor, stuttering the entire fucking time. So me and him went to the car and we called Josh or whatever the fucking boyfriend's name was. And we were like, hey, we're going to the movies. And so I think around 9:50 we went to the movies. And they're like, oh, cool. What movie did you see? He's like, oh, this movie called, it was something weird. It was like Pulse. He was like, oh, we saw this movie called Pulse. And they're like, okay. Who was do you remember the girl who gave you, or the person who gave you your tickets? He was like, yeah. He was like, what was it? Like, what was the person's gender? They're like, oh, it was a girl. Or no, it was a guy. And they're like, do you remember what he looked like? And he was like, no, we just weren't really paying attention. We were talking, whatever, right? And then he was like, all right, so, like, you saw Pulse, right? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, tell me about the movie. He didn't see the movie. So he fucking, if I'm not trying to give people ideas here, but I think it's common sense that if you're going to tell detectives that you've gone to see a movie, it better be a fucking movie you've already seen. Yeah. Or else you look like this fucking moron who was like, so we met these two girls and we were just talking to the girls. I didn't watch the second of the movie. They're like, you had to have watched at least a fucking snippet of the movie. There had to have been one scene, one frame that you had seen. You bought tickets and you went to see the movie. There had to have been one moment where you saw something on the screen. Can you tell us one moment in the movie or one actor, one person, one frame in the movie? He's like, oh, there's this guy. And they're like, listen, man, we're going to cut it too short. You know what we did yesterday? We went and saw the movie. So tell us what's in the fucking movie. Like, they didn't say fucking, but like, what's in the movie? We went and seen it. And then he just looked like a fucking idiot. And they're like, see, that's strike one. You fucking lied to us. So now you're already on fucking eggshells here. And then they use this technique to make it seem like they were his friends. They're like, here, man, like, we're here to fucking help you, dude. You just lied to us. Now is your chance. Like, we could help you. Like, we could help you, and like, legally we could help you. They weren't there to help him. They were trying to get him to fess up. But it's like, it makes you recognize those people.
Help you go to the afterlife when I put your ass on death row.
Right. Yeah. And so, like, when you see that, you're like, I'm so fucking glad you spent your entire life studying that. So you could go and catch motherfuckers like that, dude. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then there was this other case that I had seen. It's the Chris Watts case. It was really famous. I think it's Chris Watts. He literally, so long story short, he killed his pregnant wife. She was having a son, and he killed his two, like, 5 and 4 year old daughters. And then he took their bodies and then dumped them in like oil rigs that he worked at. But that case really opened my mind to not only how fucking amazing it is to have, like, detective. What the fuck was that?
A crow.
Was that a fucking dragon, dude? It looked like a fucking dragon.
One of those ravens, big ass birds.
Yeah, that was a big ass crow. Anyways, and not only just helps you like, and it not only gives you hope about, like, yo, there's some fucking people, like some detectives and shit that know what the fuck, like, they're keeping us good. Like, they're gonna make sure that, it gives you that, like an ease of mind of, like, when I die, that motherfucker's like, if I get murdered, like, that motherfucker is not getting away with it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it gives you that ease of mind, right? Yeah. Like, it gives you that hope of, like, you know what? Like, he's if I fucking die from this motherfucker, he's gonna get caught. And it makes you, like, thankful of those people. But it also makes you be thankful of ordinary people. Because the way Chris Watts got caught was, also, I don't give a fuck if I'm saying the wrong name. Fuck that asshole. So, whatever. Who gives a fuck if I say some serial killer's fucking name wrong? But they went to the neighbors, like, the day of the murder, or the day after he killed them and then buried their bodies, the morning after he had bury their bodies. They went to the neighbor's house and like, hey man, there was a murder, they're missing, or no, they went missing or whatever. I think they're dead, but do you guys have security cameras, right? And he's like, yeah. And the neighbor was like scrolling through the thing, and then they have like the body. It's like a 30-minute video of like the body cam footage from them looking through the surveillance, and it's Chris and it's his fucking neighbor. And the neighbor's going through looking at the footage. He was like, and like the neighbor was bullshitting. He was like, oh yeah, so we could see right here, just trying to like small talk. Like he was bullshitting, but the entire time when he was looking at the surveillance, he was looking at Chris, and like he knew, and he kept looking at Chris, and he kept looking at the officer, like giving the officer signs. And he's like, oh yeah, and then they like to keep like Chris at ease. He would just like go and be like, oh yeah, so like right here, like he would just bullshit, right? And then they're like, hey, Chris, there's detectives I want to talk to you. And then he's like, okay, cool. And then they left the house. And he's like, hey, and we're just going to talk to your neighbor here for a second, get a report, whatever, bullshitting. And then as soon as Chris left the house, the neighbor went, yeah, that dude's weird. There's something up. Like, no, he's acting weird. That dude's acting weird. Like, there's something up. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, Chris is never like that. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, Chris is the quietest dude you'll ever meet. He was vocal as fuck just a second ago. That dude is the quietest person you'll ever meet. He does not talk. And he was like, it's weird. Like how, like he was pacing back and forth. He had his hands on his head and he was talking a lot. That's not our neighbor that we know.
Yeah.
And then they went to the footage and literally the neighbor, by the way, shout outs to whoever I think the neighbor's name was Nate. This guy's a fucking hero. And I hope he was fucking, compensated for fucking solving this case, because in literally that body cam footage with the security cameras, he literally solved the case. He literally brings the cop to his surveillance. He's like, all right, so in this right here, you see this? That's Chris backing up into his garage. Chris never backs up into his garage. We've been neighbors with him for a while, and he's backing his car up and like his truck into the garage. And then he was saying all this shit. He's like, yeah, he never does this, never does that. Like, it's weird. Like, it's fucking weird. And then he was like, it's also weird how he kept saying what he was doing to you over and over and over again. And he was like, yeah, maybe people are just nervous. He's like, yeah, maybe people are just nervous, but that's the quietest man I ever met. He just made sure to repeat what he had eaten and shit like that. Like, it's weird. And then he like
oversold it.
He oversold it. And he was like, and then he kept like, he never backs up into the garage. Sure enough, Chris was backing up to the garage so he could dump the fucking bodies in his fucking trunk. Sure enough, fucking shout outs to Nate. I'm pretty sure his name was fucking GOAT. But watching those cases, it sucks. It's fucking sad, but it gives you in a gift and a curse way. It gives you fucking hope for people, bro.
Yeah. Did you ever watch that show, Mindhunters?
I didn't yet. No, I need to get on that shit.
It just talks about pretty much what it's a show like you were just saying, like how they really look into the minds of people and they solve shit.
Right.
It's crazy.
I find that shit interesting. I need to watch that.
Yeah, it'd be a good show for you, like, because it does get slow because you know how you like to watch it and do other shit, you multitask.
Right.
It'd be a good show for you like that.
Perfect. Yeah. I need to get on that shit. But it's been an hour, but I want to give everybody a 2-minute warning here. This is going to go for another hour because we haven't even fucking talked about the shit that we wanted to talk about in this episode. So, take it away.
I actually had two other things. That one I let you know, and another one, but the other one I don't think we don't have to. But
go for it. No, we have the time. We could go for yeah, I don't give a fuck if we go for 2 hours. Fuck it.
Oh, fucking shit. And I don't know if it's gonna be as.
Who gives a fuck? Talk about it.
Great. I think we'll just go into this one, and I can save it for another time if we're like low on time on another one.
Okay.
But I thought you're gonna go into it when you were talking about with Lucian and Isaiah about back in the day times and shit.
Right.
I thought you were gonna use that as a segue to go into the.
That would have been good, but I'm not that smart.
I thought that's what you were going with, and that's why when you're like, okay, now, and I was like, okay, here we go, we're gonna jump into it. But I was asking you about like if you were and it doesn't necessarily have to be now or back in the days, but if you were like a dictator or a king or a ruler of your time, the rules you would have. And the reason I brought it up, and then I was because it's happened in history, and like people have made some fucking crazy, fucking weird shit.
Right.
Have you ever watched Braveheart?
Probably fucking years ago. I'm pretty sure.
Great fucking movie about William Wallace. True story about William Wallace.
Mm-hmm.
How England was pretty much running Scotland, and they fucking revolted and stood up for themselves. But
Right.
so like one of their rules was like the Scottish people had like their little towns and shit, and then they had like a lord that overseen their town, and he had like his own little castle. And if you were in the Scottish people were to get married on the day of their being married, the lord of that town, the dude from England, they were not allowed to be married unless he consummated the marriage. So he had to sleep with the wife. So the husband had to let his wife sleep with the lord from England, or they were not allowed to be married. They were not allowed to have kids or nothing.
What the fuck?
That was one of the reasons why, like, the Scottish people revolted and were like, "This is fucking bullshit," you know? Like,
Right.
that's my wife, and like they would be celebrating, having a good time, and then the Lord would come down, and be like, "Hey, well, I'm invoking my royal rights.
Right.
I'm here to consummate the marriage. The wife needs to come with me, and you'll see her tomorrow."
So he's just a sick fuck.
And he would take them, and it was part of England's rules. He would take them and sleep with the wife, and then she'd come back the next day, and then she got to be with her husband after that. If she got pregnant, then they had to fucking... That was like their way of like hoping to breed out the Scottish people. She'd get pregnant, and they'd be an English baby, you know, and then, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, those are like some of the crazy fucking rules
Right.
that people had back in the day.
Mhm.
And that's a great fucking movie, dude. You gotta... If you haven't watched it in a long time, you liked Good Will Hunting, you'll fucking... Braveheart's one of those ones you can watch over and over again, and you like... There's scenes where you're just like... You get like emotional, you're fucking pumped up, like fuck yeah, and you're
Right.
like, fuck, I can't believe that happened. Like, badass movie.
Yeah,
man.
I remember very small scenes from that movie.
Great fucking action scenes,
Right.
but like shit like that. And then
Right.
that's why a lot of people would they try to get married in secrecy
Mhm.
so that their wife wouldn't have to sleep with somebody else.
Right.
But then they would fucking get murdered and killed and shit like that.
That's fucking psycho, dude.
Yeah.
That's
But,
some
like,
psycho shit.
so to go into the question, I wanted us to kind of go back and forth off of if we were the rulers of our world or town or whatever, like what kind of rules would we have?
Right.
You know, and you were saying you had some pretty fucking...
I had some gnarly ones, dude.
Yeah, it kind of scared me, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. You're gonna be scared.
I had a couple too I thought about, and I was like, I think this would be good.
I have some shit that should be laws now.
So do I. Yeah, I think so too.
I only have one. I didn't really... I had some ideas, but I scratched a lot of them because I was like, that's kind of fucking psycho. Like, I was in a weird mood. So I deleted those. But there was one that I really think, that I genuinely believe should be an actual law in the U.S. today. And I really think it could help. It could help crime rates. All right, so should I go first, or do you want to say yours?
No, go ahead.
All right.
Just go back and forth. We'll bounce back.
I think I called it the Purge Law.
Oh, you actually named yours.
Yeah, I named the law. And what I wrote down is families, when somebody in their when there was a victim, and if they're the families, and if they're they're someone they relate to is the victim of rape or sexual assault or like just something, not maybe sexual, maybe, I don't know, it depends, or murder. The families get to seek the purge penalty, what they call the purge penalty, where they get to take the suspect, the person who did it, into a room, and they get to bring any of their family members with them, and they could bring any non-sharp objects, non-sharp and no guns, to
Like
beat the fucking dog shit.
Blunt objects, blunt force.
Right. They literally get to go into this room with the suspect of the person that raped their daughter or the person that killed their son, and they get to go in there with like fucking crowbars or fucking wrenches, and they get to beat the fucking life out of this dude.
Does that guy get to fight back?
That could be something that the family decides. Hey, tie his hands behind his back. No, let him try to fight back.
I'd be like, first.
Let him struggle.
I'd be like, first, me and this motherfucker going 1-on-1.
Yeah.
If I start losing, you better jump the fuck in.
Right. So the idea is, how they have those rage rooms? I think they call them rage rooms, where you go in there, you wear like a get up suit, and you just smash shit
Like
to let off
and shit.
to let off anger. It would be like that, but they would call it the purge penalty, and you would get to go in there with the suspect, and you would bring any of your family members in, whoever needed to blow off steam, and you would literally beat the fucking life out of that dude.
What if that woke up something in you, though? What if, like, I was never a violent person or a killer, and then I got this motherfucker back, and then it like ignited something in me, and I'm just like, I want that fucking rush again, and it turns me into a killer.
Then you would have a purge penalty set on you, and then you would be in a 1 versus 5.
But you know what I mean? That's crazy to think about.
Right. So you would go in there with fucking wrenches, crowbars, anything that wasn't sharp, like a knife or no guns and shit. And you would go in there and you would just, it's a purge law. There's no rules. You literally get to go in there and you could do whatever the fuck you want. You could break both his hands. You could fucking shatter both of his kneecaps. You could fucking rupture his spinal cord. Literally the purge law. You could go in there and beat the fucking life out of him. But what I was thinking about with this law is whether or not they would legally be allowed to kill him. Because instead of because you wouldn't be able to seek this and the death penalty. It'd have to be one or the other.
No headshots, all body. Just beat the fuck out of him. Go.
Right, but it's also like I was thinking, like you can't seek the purge penalty and the death penalty at this. You can only like seek one. So you can't be like, I'm gonna fucking shatter every bone in his body, and then he's gonna go get fucking electric chaired after. Like you'd have to like, if he was gonna die, it would have to be in that room. Yeah,
and there's like a time limit.
Sure,
like you got
5 minutes.
5 minutes,
or whatever. Yeah.
You better fucking get some good shots in.
Yeah, you just go in there and beat the fuck out of him. You could go in there, brass knuckles, anything. Literally, the.
What if there's like there's 5 of your family members and they're all like fucking 5'5" like me, but the fucking dude's like a 6'9", 350, all yoked up. Like,
right.
Fuck. He got us.
Yeah, imagine you, fucking Fu, and fucking Javier, and all these fucking guys who are just fucking massive, and you're just like, oh fuck, I raped that guy's daughter, or I fucking killed this dude's like sibling. Like you would just be like, I'm gonna suffer the most brutal fucking death possible. You can't tell me a law like that
wouldn't
make you second guess doing crazy shit.
Well, so this is a point I wanted to bring up, and I think it goes in line with that. Is like you have to be a little bit more aggressive in the laws. For example, Canada has one of the most lowest crime rates. Mm-hmm. They say there's parts of Canada like people sleep with the door unlocked, sometimes open, because they know nothing's gonna happen.
Wow.
But it's because they're so fucking strict. Like if you get caught jaywalking, crossing the street, not in a crosswalk, jaywalking, like something basic like that, you're doing a year in prison.
Holy shit.
Like they don't fuck around there, so like everybody's like, I'm gonna fucking cross where I'm supposed to. I'm gonna fucking,
Yeah, I'm gonna press the button.
Like they are super fucking strict. Like you'll go to jail for life for like fucking shoplifting or assault. You fucking get in a fight and you fuck somebody up really bad and you shouldn't have. Hey, well, you shouldn't have fucking done it.
Right.
Should have walked away. You're going to jail for life, or you got fucking 20 years, and you're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like they're super strict. So to your point, something like that, maybe like people are gonna be like, I don't want that.
I don't want to fucking.
I'm gonna fucking second guess my reaction now.
Right. Right. And it's like, it makes you like, so like, and I was thinking too, like, what if like they made these shops? It gives more jobs because people would be able to open up like storage facilities or something, and they would be able to set up like rooms. Like maybe one place is selling a purge room where there's tables and fucking, nightstands and just other shit. And you could like, maybe like, fucking glass windows and shit. You could throw them through glass or just some crazy shit. And like, you could go into like, all right, we want to seek the purge penalty. All right. You life in prison and the purge penalty. Right. And then you'd be like, and then, the Vasquez family or whatever would get to, choose, which shop they want to go up to. And you're like, oh, you kind of go shopping. You're like, where are we going to fuck this motherfucker up at? Are we going to go to one where it looks like a fucking restaurant? Are we going to go to one that's built up like whatever? Like, which one would be like the best way to just fuck this dude up?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you'd just be like, oh, let's go to the place with like the very like breakable glass. We'll just throw this dude through fucking glass. We'll send him over throw him through a table. Like, we'll fucking do all this shit. Let's go to the fucking Nancy's Purge Parlor. Let's use that one.
Nancy's Purge Parlor.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go to that one. All right, we're going to seek the purge penalty at Nancy's Purge Parlor. You would be like, yo, like, Oh, because when you think about killers, bro, they think they're gonna get away with it, but like in their heads are like, I'm in this state or whatever, I'm gonna get life in prison. I don't give a fuck.
I think what would be cool too is like if they're like say a pedophile, someone that hurt little kids and stuff like that. You castrate them, you cut their dick and balls off.
Yeah.
Fucking now they're stuck to just a bag pissing out of. Cut all their fingers off so they can't be violent again, so they just have nubs.
Right.
Cut their Achilles tendon and both feet so they can't run. They're limping, maybe even the toes.
Yep.
And cut their tongue out.
Yeah.
Now they're fucking mute. They can't do shit, but just you want to live, you're gonna live.
Right.
In prison probably the rest of life, but you ain't never gonna fuck again. You ain't never gonna be able to touch anybody again. Like you lost that right when you broke the law.
Yeah. Literally ruining somebody's life.
Yeah, like you did. You ruined somebody's life with what you did.
Right.
So now your life is fucked.
And with the purge penalty, if you don't kill the person, you leave them so crippling, like just fucked up. They'll maybe go in there with fucking hands that they could barely move and fucking arms that they could barely
I'd go for
move.
fucking spinal shots.
I wouldn't, bro.
And
I'll tell you why. Because if you fucking shatter their spine, like I'm like if you shatter their spine, bro, they won't be able to feel everything else. I feel like because
well, that would be the last one. After I'm
right.
All right, you got 30 seconds. Hey, all spine shots, guys. Let's go.
Yeah, like you wouldn't come on, you wouldn't commit some fucking crazy.
Make you second guess.
Like, bro, like imagine you're a killer and then all these fucking dudes who are fucking massive just go in there and they hold your fucking arm down. You can't move and they just take a fucking hammer and just all your entire arm. You can't do shit about it. It's legal. It's legally okay.
You're screaming in pain.
You wouldn't do some shit like that again.
Yeah, I'd just be mad if they fucking passed out from the pain early, and you're like, "Fuck,
yeah,
this motherfucker passed out from the pain, you bitch."
Yeah, so there's this Twitch streamer that I watch that kind of inspired that idea. His name's Los Polos. He's one of my favorite fucking streamers, and he was like, his idea was like, yeah, like I feel like they should do a law where I could hire an MMA fighter to just go in there and beat the fucking dog shit out of the guy.
Like bully beatdown.
Yeah, like some bully beatdown shit. I want. Give me Francis Ngannou.
Yes.
Arm him with brass knuckles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Well, so I'll go into my rules, and it's not as fucking dark and intense as yours. So, everybody talks about how we have a physical health issue in the world,
right.
Obesity,
right.
Stuff like that. So if we have to retake our driver's test and get our license every 4 years, I feel like there should be a physical requirement. Every 4 years, you have to pass a physical assessment. Damn. Now, as you get older, yes, I understand you're going to slow down or whatever. Like, there's going to be gauges to it.
Right.
So if you want to eat cheeseburgers all the time and you want to be eating all the unhealthy food, hey, that's your choice. But you have to still pass this physical requirement. Right. So in 4 years, when your shit's up, or that last year before you have to retest, you better start fucking cutting weight, getting into shape. Right. You better run. You better keep your heart rate at a certain rate, whatever. Right. Because you're gonna have to fucking.
And then obviously you get little layoffs if you have certain medical.
Yeah.
Like if
medical stuff, like they could alter it. Like, okay, well, since you can't do that, you have severe asthma. Got it. Cool. So I need, when you come on your assessment, you need to be able to do at least 200 push-ups. Right. You have 2 minutes to do it. So if you need a break in between or X amount of time, like there'll be rules and alignments for each one.
To make it less out of pocket.
But to make sure that, like, hey, you have the freedom to eat what you want. If you want to be a smoker, cool, you could smoke, but you're going to have to run this fucking mile in 4 years. That's on you. And then I don't know what the rules would be. This is where you would have to help me. Like, if they don't, what happens?
If they don't, what happens?
Are they fined? Are their paychecks docked every week until they do pass the assessment? Like, and they have to pay taxes to the poor or something like that. I'm like, all right, well, if you don't want to have to fucking fork out a quarter of your paycheck every fucking week.
Yeah, I say fine them.
Then you need to, you get to retest in a month.
Right. So you're trying to build, your country's trying to be built like, you've seen Invincible. That one country that fucking what's that fucker's name is from?
The cartoon Invincible?
Yeah. What was his name?
I don't remember.
No, it was whatever the fuck. You remember him? He comes from an Earth that's like just only the survival of the fittest, only the strongest.
Oh, that dude that fucks all those foods up in that office and then bounces out.
Yep. And then beats the shit out of at the end.
Like our fucking country will be like the fucking baddest,
The healthiest and the strongest?
the healthiest, the strongest.
Right.
You know, it'll create mental toughness. It'll create discipline.
Right.
Because you're gonna have to be like, fuck, you know, do I love cheeseburgers? Yeah, but I don't want to lose my fucking quarter of my paycheck because I can't pass this assessment.
Right.
You know, and shit like that. You know, it makes you make decisions. Like, all right, so I'll be real. I smoked weed like all through high school as a kid. Like, I loved marijuana. But then when you were born, I had to make a decision, and I was like, man, I'm never gonna let me not be able to pass a drug test be the reason why I can't feed my kid.
Right.
So I stopped smoking.
Right.
Like, I had to have that discipline because there was something there that made me fucking stop and say, I'm not gonna let this fucking affect me raising my family.
Right.
You know, so maybe that'll make them make better decisions because they're like, fuck.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it'll keep from people being lazy at home,
Mm-hmm.
because that's one of the problems we have now. People are abusing the system, staying at home collecting fucking free checks because they don't want to do shit.
Right.
They're lazy.
Right.
You know, I'm not saying I'm the most fucking active, healthiest, most fit person in the world, but I'm not lazy.
Right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's an interesting law. I like that.
Yeah. I didn't think about what you said, though, like with health issues. Like, you should just have to alter it. Like, you know, maybe if you're in a wheelchair and stuff, you have to do an exercise bike with the hands, you know, like
Right.
just to show that your health's good, you're getting your heart working,
Mhm.
you know, you're trying to be in the best shape possible in the situation you are. You don't get to milk it. It'll build
Right.
mental strongness and all that kind of shit.
And like the people who just physically can't do shit, like obviously, yeah, they'll have
We'll
like
find something else.
yeah, they'll that or like if somebody's like paralyzed from the neck down, it would just be like, okay, you don't have to do it, just in general, like you know.
Yeah. Like
Whatever.
maybe the requirement for people like that are like, okay, well, then I need you to complete X amount of hours of studying because I need you to be one of the smartest motherfuckers in the world. Like, I
Right.
would want smart people too.
Right.
Like, people like that, like, all right, well, your requirement is in this education or whatever. Like, I need you fucking figuring shit out for us.
Right.
I need smart, not only fit and fucking active people, but I need smart people.
Right.
You know, so we can fucking conquer and remain
So
top.
I have a question for you. So like you said, at some point, it's just gonna be like, that's no way. So at what age does that law not apply to you? Like at 50, they don't have to do it anymore, or like at 60, they don't have to do it anymore.
I would probably say the retirement age. Like, if you could retire and stop working at 68, then you probably don't have to do that no more.
Right.
You know, then you're good. But there's like people you see, old ass people still fucking participating in fucking
Mm-hmm.
runs and shit like that. But like maybe when you hit retirement age, like if you don't have to work, okay, then you don't have to do our requirement no more. Just
Right.
like with the driver's license, at a certain age, you're like, okay, this is not healthy for you to be driving because you're too fucking old.
Right.
Now it's not too healthy for you to fucking be running a mile no more.
Right.
You know, I just think it'll create a strong society
Right.
and a disciplined society.
Right.
You know.
But it would just be fucking Yolktown, dude.
Yeah.
You won't find a fucking unfit person.
Well, there'll be lean ones too, like
Yeah.
because if you're too big, like then you're gonna your lactic acid, they're gonna build up in your muscles, and you're gonna fucking gas out quick.
Right.
So you have to be like in the middle. I don't want fucking super yoked motherfuckers, but I don't want fucking fat people who either. Are, that sounds mean as fuck. I don't mean it like that, you know. Or like super skinny. Like you have to try,
Right.
do certain things, you know.
Yeah, that's interesting. Something interesting to think about. I would have like a you know how the U.S. has like a what is like the U.S. because you know how Mexico has a that parade that they do. What's it called? Or maybe it's just in a specific town, but like I'm pretty sure there's like that parade that they do for, you know, the people who have passed on.
Oh, de los Muertos or something like that.
Yeah.
Day of the Dead.
Right.
Yeah.
I would do that for like a whole country, for maybe like you know, I don't know, maybe like a Black Lives Matter. Like instead of like February being the month where you learn about Black history, it would be like February is the month where, you know, you just fucking party it out, you know, for the Black Lives Matter movement. That's also, here we go. I just discovered a new law. Black history has to be an all-year thing. Legally has to be an all-year thing. The fact, it's kind of racist if you think about it. Like, I feel like people don't pay much. It's racist that there's only 1 month where you learn about Black history, and it's the shortest month of the year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would make that a law. Like in schools, they like Black History has to be an all year thing. They have enough.
Everybody's history needs to. Like
Right.
they say that if you don't learn about the past, it's bound to repeat itself. And I think
Right.
that's kind of why we're in the spot where we are now, where racism is back, because we kind of stopped
Right.
teaching and educating our kids in that, and that's why
Right.
it's still around and still happening.
Hmm.
You know.
Yeah. So I would do it an all year thing for like all cultural like we don't need to learn about the dude who raped and pillaged what helped us win the war.
Yeah. Or how about an incentive for doing good? Like if you could keep the crime rate in the whole U.S. under a certain percentage, because there are going to be idiots out there and stupid people that do dumb things.
Right.
You keep this crime rate at this much for the year, and you
all get paychecks or something.
no, there's the week before we tell you, hey, stock up, because this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, the entire nation is shut down. There's no work. Nobody has to
Damn.
work. Fucking 2 days, like you said, of partying. Stock up your shit. Nobody's working.
Hell
Everybody
yeah.
gets a weekend off.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, or a week. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
hey, no, get your groceries, get all your shit, whatever you're doing for that week, because nothing's gonna be open.
Right.
Everybody gets a week off.
Yeah, I would do some shit like that. Cause I think that's one thing that like I said, nobody wants to. Cool, this dude helped us win the war, but this guy also raped and pillaged and owned slaves.
Yeah,
It's like we're learning about him. Cool.
because people are picking and choosing who they want to make their history. You know.
Right.
So somebody along the line was like, "Hey, let's fucking make sure this guy is, but not this guy." Because,
Right,
that's
because
the side I'm
right,
on. You know what I mean?
Like I think Black history goes beyond just Martin Luther King and all these people who stopped slavery. Because
It was way before that too.
Black history is now. Like Black history is still like there's still so much shit that they are changing in the world.
Yeah.
The Black Lives Matter movement's gonna be in the fucking history books fucking decades from now. Black people have changed music, they have changed clothing, like they have changed style.
Culture has a part in almost everything.
Right.
You know.
Right. So, yeah, I would do something like that, and I would also make it a like they would like because I feel like doing that, bro, would really like help the racial problem, because one thing that a lot of people are not recognizing is like why do you think racism still exists? Because that one fucking great-great-grandparent who had slaves and was whipping people passed down his beliefs to his son, and then his son passed down his beliefs to his son, and then it passed it down to his son, and then his son, and then his son. What we have to do is we have to end the fucking bloodline here, because we have to start teaching kids right from wrong because their parents are not gonna.
Yeah.
Like, so like in school, like all year long, we should be talking about Black history, what's right and wrong.
Yeah.
I think legally they should like be allowed, the teachers should be allowed to be like, hey kids, Black people have done fucking amazing shit for this world. There are some great people. Teach them about fucking, what's it called? Racial profiling and all that shit. Like why that's bad, why that's wrong, why it's wrong to judge some, like be prejudiced of someone because of their skin color, right? Rather than just like their appearance or what they do, like because of the simple fact that the skin color is Black. Like, hey, like I would like, because one thing that this world needs to do is, like I said, teach Black history all year long and give these teachers a platform.
All racial history needs to be part, and then, the school system's fucked up in itself because, like, a few years ago, they don't even do the Pledge of Allegiance anymore at schools, which was required when you're little, like you say the Pledge of Allegiance in the morning, because it said under God. And they're like, well, what if people don't believe in God? So we're not going to say that no more.
Right.
So it's like, I get there's different religions and stuff like that. Like, I understand, but, like, we're allowing people, we're taking stuff that kids need to learn out from them, like they need to learn about true Black history, not what they want you to think Black history is,
right?
And all racial history, and not pick and choose because what you think, like
right.
There's too much I guess you could say too many hands in the cookie jar,
right?
When there's too many hands in there, nobody's gonna get a cookie.
Right.
They're just gonna fucking block each other from being pulled out, and everybody's gonna want to get their hand out first with their cookie, and they're gonna stop everybody else.
Right.
We just all need to really learn.
Right. Yeah. So I think that would be a good one too.
I feel like there's more laws we could put out there, and I thought my fitness one was pretty cool. What do you think about stop making cars that are so fast? Like, why do you need a car that could hit 120?
Right. The amount of car crashes and shit that happen just because, like, having a car that looks cool is one thing. Having a car that goes fast is kind of unnecessary. Like, what do you?
If
like,
you're a
unless you're gonna be on a
I get it. But street legal, like, there's no like a lot of the cars do have regulators on them. You know, like all of our cars do.
Right.
But some of them don't.
Right.
Why are they even capable of going that fast?
Right. That's a good point. That doesn't make any sense because, like, they're making cars that could go fucking 200.
And there's always somebody out there that knows how to take those regulators off and change it. And then you're like, okay, so now I got this fucking car that can go, like, and then you have people trying to do street races, illegal street racing, people dying for no fucking reason.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Because then there's, like, speed limits and shit, and it's like...
you're so into racing, go fucking be a professional racer, dude.
Right.
Because you may be the one that fucking veers off and you hit an innocent family at a red light in a minivan.
Right.
You know, and you're a fucking dick, dude.
Yeah.
For that. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. I didn't really think about that. Like, they need to start, like, it needs to be a law that they legally cannot make cars that go faster than a certain point.
Yeah.
That's a good point because there's, like, there's speed limits and shit, and, like, yet they make cars that could exceed that.
Yep.
Like, legally they're allowed to. Like someone's like, what's the point in having? Yeah. Like, what's the point in having a car that could go that fast if it's legally not okay?
Yeah. Like, why even the regulators? Like, most of my, I think even the Bolt, like, it can't go over 92. Don't ask me how I know that. But why would you need to? There's no place in the U.S. where the speed limit's 92.
Right.
So why am I allowed to go that fast?
Right. Yeah. That's a good law because that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like, I get if you
really
have to pass somebody, but if everybody's going to speed limit, it only takes 5-10 miles per hour more to pass them.
Right.
You don't need to go fucking 40 miles per hour over the fucking speed limit.
Right.
To pass them. You know what I mean?
Would you have a law for racial slurs in public?
Yeah.
Like verbal harassment, maybe.
Yeah, because
if
you allow that, then you're allowing the racism.
Right. So I would make that a law.
Just like too, I know it's super weird, but in like I think it's China or Japan, one of those two. It's extremely disrespectful, and people will snap on you if you blow your nose in public.
Really?
Yeah, they think it's fucking like disgusting, and it's extremely rude and disrespectful.
Where?
Like in public, if you're walking outside.
No. Like where?
I
like
think it was like China or Japan or something. Like that.
They got some chads in China.
Like, you're just fucking walking, you're like, fuck, I got a snot, let me fucking... People are like, what the fuck, man? Like, fucking gross.
Try to square up with you?
Maybe it's because of, like, the way... How we have to wear masks now because it spreads disease. You're blowing all this shit out.
Right.
And with force.
Right.
I know it's going into a napkin, but shit's coming out the sides, too.
Right. Sure. That's a good point. Yeah, so I'd make some shit like that laws, bro. Like, you can't use any, like, the verbal harassment law. You can't say any racial slurs.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, like, you know, yeah, like, it would just be like, you could press charges for verbal assault.
Yeah, if you like spit on someone, you could press charges for assault.
Right.
That doesn't hurt you, but it's fucking disgusting.
Right. If, like, someone calls me a fucking beaner on the street, I'm going to be like, get this motherfucker, racist son of a bitch. Yeah. Why isn't that a law?
I actually like Spanish rice more than I like beans, dumbass.
Yeah, fuck you.
Damn, sips on horchata. Dark as fuck in here. Look at.
Yeah, I did get fucking dark. Is there anything else?
My beard mouth ain't blinded. Like you just see my face.
But
fuck. I felt like I had so many more, and then
and they just left as soon as we started talking about it, huh?
Yeah. What were some of those weird ones that you're like, nah, that's sketchy?
Oh, I thought of some fucked up shit of like doing a criminal battle royale on some gladiator shit.
Like you want to live, you have to survive this.
The survival of the fittest, the last one standing gets a reduced sentence.
What is that one with fucking the mockingbird thingy?
That's Hunger Games.
Yeah, like Hunger Games.
It wouldn't be like that. It would be like in a gladiator like stadium, and you would just send a bunch of serial killers and shit out, and like anybody in prisons would be able to participate if they wanted to, or not participate if they didn't want to, but they could go and battle a bunch of other criminals from around the state, from all over the country, and the last one standing gets a significant reduced sentence.
I kind of feel like that too, and like they should help out in the military.
Right, but then you would have to be like, can you trust a fucking serial killer?
We allow not the serial killers, but like we allow inmates and criminals to help out with firefighting.
Really? I didn't know that.
In our country, yeah, like they're here in our country and they're allowed to, to help fight fires.
What the fuck? I didn't know that.
But see, I feel like that's more dangerous because if a motherfucker's sneaky, he could just fucking run away in that fire and he's still loose here. If I send your bitch ass to Afghanistan, like, you're going to want to survive because the only people that are going to help you get out that bitch, they don't give a fuck about you. You're just an American.
Right.
They don't care if what side you're on. Like, you're an American, you're going to die.
Right.
So it'll make them have to fucking learn teamwork with other people that are fucking trying the same common goal. Like, hey, go do your fucking 4 years and then we'll talk about it. We'll take some time off your sentence or maybe,
right,
put you back in the military and you can start a life as a soldier.
Yeah, that, would be the more tame version of my law, or like my little like parade or whatever the fuck. Instead of like going in there and trying to fucking kill each other to get reduced sentence, each prison could form a football team. Right?
The longest yard.
Like on the longest yard, and the winning football team, the team that wins the fucking prison bowl, all of them get reduced sentences.
But there ain't no fucking rules like the NFL, like no leading with the hand. Like it's hardcore.
It's hardcore shit, dude.
Hardcore fucking.
They could taunt, dude. They could fucking, obviously they get flags if they spit on each other, but like they could fucking level each other, dude. Go for that. Yeah,
I'd watch that shit.
I would watch that shit too.
Like they'd go going hard, dude.
But that's one of those things where where you would be like, who do I cheer for?
Yeah.
It's serial killers versus serial killers. Like,
hey, he's choking that fucking guy.
You're just
fucking taking each other's helmets off, fucking trying to fucking make each other like.
And then there would be like a hockey rule.
Oh, let them fucking
they
fight.
Let them fight. Yep.
And
then when the fight's over, they get sidelined.
Yeah. So in hockey, if they fall, they stop it. But if they stay standing, that's why they both will try to hold each other up.
Oh, so they could get punches in.
Like if you fall, I gotta stop hitting you. So
right.
It's like, oh, no, get up, motherfucker.
I'm not done with you, bitch.
I'm not done with you, dude. That's fucking
I would probably
funny.
do some shit like that.
That's pretty cool. That's funny. I'd watch that shit because it'd be hardcore. It wouldn't be no like fucking bitch ass rules like we have now.
Yeah, like face mask rule wouldn't be a rule. Like you could just fucking yank somebody by their face mask.
You go and watch it on pay-per-view because like someone's gonna get their neck broken or something. Like, oh shit, that guy's dead. He's dead.
Fucking Davis Vaughn's just fractured his fucking spinal cord in today's game. He is out for forever.
Yeah, he's done. And there goes his reduced sentence. He's just gonna be a fucking vegetable.
He's never playing for LA County again.
That'd be pretty dope.
That would be fire. Like,
yeah.
Or like do baseball, or maybe not even a harmful fucking sport. Just let them.
Or even like back in the day, like the medieval times, or like a gladiator arena.
Make them do what?
Like they go in there and like gladiators, they have to fucking like, hey, there's 2 fucking big ass fucking grizzly bears in there. You get a fucking you get a fucking sword. Like fucking you kill these fucking bears, dude, you're a fucking man's man.
Right, but then that would be dope, but then there would be like an outcry of people, like some animal lovers, where they'd just be like, what the fuck?
Or then have them against like some badass like dudes, like some good fucking guys that are like fucking badass fucking fighters.
Right.
Like the gladiator, they're like on a chariot and shit, and there's like 5 of them in the middle, and they just barely have a knife and maybe a wood shield.
Right.
And I got fucking bows and arrows and shit, and it's like me and like 3 dudes against like 6 of you guys, but I get horses and shit.
Yeah.
Like a slight advantage.
Doing something like that would give like people like that we're doing good for them because we're giving them something to do.
It'd have to be pay-per-view though, because this could be gory.
It would be fucked up, like some dude bleeding out of his helmet
with a spear in the eye. Oh my god.
Yeah, fucking bleeding out of his helmet and shit. Like it would be It would be the AEW.
He's still going. He's got a knife in his fucking eye, and he's still fucking fighting. Like, oh my god.
He brought a shiv onto the field. But yeah, that would be fucking badass. That was one of them where I was just like, maybe that's fucked up if I said like. I think
there's people out there though too that are just gonna be too like that's too violent, But we're talking about violent people here too.
Yeah, like
you know what I mean?
Bad people are hurting bad people.
And like one of the things I've always hated is and what's another rule I change is the death penalty rule. Like we have people that are on death row, that are on death row for like 10 years.
Damn.
Like you've already been convicted. You're guilty, and we've already said you're gonna die. Why the fuck do my tax dollars have to feed you for the next 10 years?
That's a good point.
Like, if you're convicted, you get, let's say, a year to appeal, and you better come up with some good shit.
Right.
After that, you're done, dude. No fucking 10, 15 years on death row. Fuck that.
I didn't even know you had to pay for like.
Our taxes go to the mills and shit. The people in prison, like we feed them.
I was gonna say it because you said that, and my first thought was like, oh, like that sucks for them. Because well, like what I was saying, like it does suck for them. Like us paying for that shouldn't be allowed. But if you're like, at any fucking day I could just be on a fucking like it would be torture, like the anticipation waiting for them to get fucking murdered. But like if we're fucking paying for that, fuck that.
Yeah, like you fucking committed the crime. Now you gotta fucking
just die already, motherfucker. Dude. Why you?
Like you're done. Especially like if they're hardcore people, like we were talking about, that fucking serial killers that are just fucking heartless, crazy fucks. Like, nah, dude, there's no reason for you to be on this earth.
You're not human, yeah. Like you're just die.
You're done.
Yeah.
And I think that too may, going back to the first initial, your purge rule, it may make them be like, fuck, dude, like I'm gonna die pretty quick. I'm pretty guilty. I'm fucked. You know, they're gonna get me. Maybe it'll make them think twice. Right. But some of them be like, oh, I could fucking fight it for the next 10, 15 years. Oh, I'm 50 now. By the time I'm 60, who gives a fuck? I lived a life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
that's a good point. Dude. Yeah.
You get 1 year to appeal. You better get a good lawyer and you better have your shit stacked. After that, if you found guilty again, you're done.
Right. Yeah, that's.
And then I noticed another weird thing too, and it's kind of off subject, is like different states have different death penalties. Like some have the electric chair still.
Right.
Some have the gas chamber.
That's fun.
Some have lethal injection. Like then they used to have like the firing squad, stoning. Back in the day, where they just throw fucking rocks at you until you're dead.
That's fucked.
Yeah, like which one do you think should stick?
The one that should stick?
I think electric chair because I think it's pretty like. Lethal injection is the most humane one, they say, and that's why. That's another thing that irritates me. They're like, "Oh, we have to be humane." That motherfucker wasn't humane in the crime he did. Right. So why are we trying to give him the easiest out?
Yeah,
it puts him to sleep, and then it stops his heart.
I think it's more so just for everybody else who's in the room. Because if all of them like maybe sure they could look away, but like they got to make sure this motherfucker doesn't break out, so they got to watch, right? Yeah. If you put him in a gas chamber, he's like, his fucking skin's going red, like in the most fucked up, brutal, like, coughing blood out. Like you're gonna be fucked up from that going home. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or like if you're in a shooting range, like, I mean, unless it's like the guys in the army, you don't have experience with that. They could just be like, oh fuck it, I'll just work on my shot a little bit on this fucking guy who
you should watch raped and killed a family. Fallen with Denzel Washington, badass movie. So like pretty much the gist of the movie is a killer gets executed by the gas chamber, and then his soul starts going into other people, and he's like going after the cop that got him. Wow. But it's a really good movie with Denzel Washington. But the guy's nuts, dude. And like he goes in the gas chamber, and he's like dancing on the way over there, and he keeps on singing, "Time is on my side." Yes, it is. And he just keep on singing. He's like all fucking. He shimmies in there. He gets into the chair, and he's sitting there. And then the gas starts coming in. He just takes a deep breath, and he's like holding his breath as long as he can, like. Yeah, motherfuckers. Like, yeah. And then it's fucking, he can't hold his breath anymore, and he starts breathing in, he fucking dies. Right. But then his soul comes out, and it starts to, like, go into other people, and he becomes, like, it's a badass movie, dude.
That's pretty dope.
And Denzel Washington doesn't make bad movies.
No.
He's never made a bad movie. No. Like, that movie's fucking sick. Just the whole thought of it's kind of weird. Like, the soul jumping bodies, but good fucking
It's original.
Yeah.
And that ties back into the movie shit we were talking about, of, like, how they fail to make anything fucking original. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But like, and then like the Green Mile, when that one guard was like being a dick to that guy that they're gonna electrocute on the electric chair. Right. So what they do is they put a wet sponge in the top, and then they screw it down. So when it electrocutes you, the water, like fucking, you get full electricity, and that's what kills you. Right. He didn't wet the sponge on purpose, so the heat started to burn him, and his eyes fucking blew out and shit like that.
Damn.
Yeah, but like that's painful shit now. You know what I mean?
Right.
I kind of feel like it should be painful. Like, people could probably be like, oh, you're fucking sick. But these people did heinous crimes. That's why they're in there.
Right. But like I said, I think it would just more so like those people are kind of just like, yeah, I don't want this fucking security guard who's making sure he doesn't, like, break out and fucking kill me. Like, it's kind of fucked up. This guy's got to go back to his fucking family and pretend like he didn't just watch this dude fucking fry. Yeah. Like, he just watched somebody burn alive. Why does his
clothes smell funny? Oh, that's burning skin.
Yeah, it's just like, what the fuck? Yeah. So
I thought it was crazy too, or it's trippy how inmates right before they get executed, the night before they get their last meal, and they get to pick whatever they want.
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, like some people are like, I want a gallon of Rocky Road ice cream. That's what I want for my last meal.
Damn.
And they gave it to them. They're allowed to fucking eat that as their last meal, or they're like, hey, I want the best fucking filet mignon steak with some shrimp, some mashed potatoes, a beer,
right?
And you just like name it, and they're like, all right, cool. So this is your last meal.
Right.
They're allowed to eat it.
Because that makes the because like I said, that's the fuck you effect. You're like, a piece of shit. We're not like you.
Yeah.
We're gonna give you one last fucking moment of like feeling good and being happy, and then you're gonna fucking
feel like it's
you.
a mind game too. Like, fuck, I'm never gonna enjoy this again. Like they just said, like, look at what you're gonna miss out on.
Yeah.
I know this is what you love because this is what you asked for in your last thing, and you fucked that up.
Yeah.
Like there's a mind game to it.
Right. I've also never been a fan of the death penalty from just the fucking small chances of like people that didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Cause that fucking sucks, dude.
And yeah,
like if you didn't do shit and you get in there, like you're like there's a possibility like I wouldn't not be able to be a security guard or whatever working there, not thinking like I could be killing an innocent fucking person.
That's true.
You know, so that's why I've never been a fucking big death penalty person. I feel like maybe there's laws. Like I feel like I would like the death penalty if like they would have to completely have full fucking solid evidence, like they seen this motherfucker, like there's no way it couldn't not have fucking been him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like in those cases, that would make sense. But if it's like, oh mate, like there was a small possibility that he killed the dude and then handed his friend the gun.
Crooked ass cops and judges that set people up. We hear about it all the time that people did fucking 50 years of their life are gone, and then finally now they're like, oh yeah, this fucking dude was a racist. My bad. You're fucking free to go after 50 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
See, like that's why. Like I don't know. Like it's sad thinking about the amount of people who fucking gotten death penalties and fucking died brutal deaths who had fucking families that didn't do shit.
Yeah, or you have people that go in there that are innocent but have to become criminals in there just to survive.
Yeah.
Or they're getting fucked, or you know what I mean? They're becoming bitches to somebody. You know, like you have to be a fucking savage
day in day out. Yeah.
And then what?
Yeah.
Now you're a fucking animal, dude. Like it doesn't fix you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It makes you worse because you have to survive in those motherfuckers.
Right. That's why Norway's crazy, dude. Their prisons are fucking nuts. You see those fucking prisons?
I don't know, probably.
So like, it's like popular. Everybody's like, if you want to be a criminal, go to Norway because the prisons there are like fucking luxury. Yeah, books, yeah, movies. Like they don't believe that anybody who's fucking a nut up like that is like fully evil and deserves to get treated like an animal. Rather, they should go there and like learn about what they did was wrong and why, you know, they give them like almost peace. Like they go in there and they teach like a rehabilitation center, but they're there for life. And it's a fucking like you look up pictures of Norway prisons, bro. You're like, what the fuck?
Wow, that's interesting.
I don't even have a hospital that looks like that. Like it's fucking nice. Like
that's interesting. Wow.
Because they don't believe that people like that deserve to go into fucking like hell. Like they like either they show people like the good things about life and then they make them fucking regret shit.
Yeah.
You know, or I don't know. It's like fucking Norway's crazy, but everybody's like, it's kind of like a joke. Like if you want to fucking kill somebody, go to Norway. Because you'll just go to a fucking nice prison. You'll learn shit and you'll just fucking. You'll have a roof over your head.
I wonder if taxpayers pay for that too, because that shit probably isn't cheap.
Right. So I don't know, man. I don't even know where Norway is. Where's fucking Norway?
In Norway.
Is Norway a country?
I think so. Don't fucking ask questions like that.
Yeah, I have no fucking idea.
You have to fucking timestamp that and edit it out. Like, we know. We're just fucking with y'all. I bet you don't know. Leave a comment if you do.
Just out of curiosity, I want to test your guys' fucking IQ. So we have a bunch of fucking idiots who watch this show. Yeah, is that it? Should we wrap it up? Yeah, so this was a pretty good episode. I like this is the shit we wanted to do an episode like this where we just talk about random shit because we understand how hard it is to watch a podcast about a sport that you don't want to watch or that you don't watch, you don't really know about.
Yeah.
I feel like the sports we should be talking about, like the UFC and shit. Like nobody, like with football, it's like what's yards and like touchdowns and oh, that penalty. You're just kind of like, I don't fucking know the rules. But in UFC, it's kind of like, oh, this dude got knocked the fuck out.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what somebody getting fucking slept or choked out means. Like,
yeah.
You know, so we'll probably talk about the UFC. Yesterday we watched Ortega versus Volkanovski.
Yeah.
That whole card. We have some opinions on that we'll probably talk about next week. But
yeah.
Fucking crazy card. The greatest, what was it? Featherweight? Brian Ortega, Volkanovski?
I think so, yeah.
Greatest featherweight fight of all time.
That was a great fight.
Greatest featherweight fight of all time. Love to fucking Brian Ortega. I was already a fan of his before, but he made a super fan out of me now.
Yeah.
One of the best fucking Mexican fighters to ever live, bro.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to go down in history as one of the fucking,
And he couldn't
Mexico's
see.
best.
He couldn't see, and he was like, yeah.
I could see.
Yeah, we're good. I'm good.
Yeah,
we're
let's
good.
go. Yeah.
He kept stop turning your head. Well, fuck, I can't
I want to fight, yeah. But he didn't quit.
No.
He should have gotten finished in the third round, but he fucking made it to the final bell, dude. Fucking, that's what a true Mexican warrior is, dude. Brian Ortega, the T-City, the fucking GOAT. So, you can follow the podcast, Stuck in the Elevator Podcast, on Instagram, and SIEE Podcast on Twitter, which is just the abbreviation of Stuck in the Elevator. If you want to reach out to him, he doesn't have any social media, but he does run the Instagram account. So if you want to talk to him or whatever, just go to the Stuck in the Elevator Podcast on Instagram. I've been fucking grinding, Twitch streaming. I've been streaming every day for the past week, and I continue to stream every single day. So follow my Twitch stream, Tis Xander, TIS Xander, Tis Xander on Twitter, Tis Xander on YouTube. We completely rebranded everything to Tis Xander to make it easier for y'all. So Tis Xander on Twitter, Instagram, or not Twitter, not Instagram, but Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube, and then Xander MV3 on Instagram. We appreciate everybody who's been listening to the podcast. This shit's become second nature to us. Every Friday, Saturday, or maybe even Sundays, if we're a little late, it just feels second nature to make these fucking episodes and pump out content. So we appreciate everybody who listens. We had a lot of fucking opinions on this episode.
Yeah.
We were super opinionated on this episode, so it's probably gonna be titled something like that, something about opinions, something whatever.
And I think stuff like that is what gets our audience engaged, because then they have their opinions.
Right, so that's what I was gonna say. So this was a super opinionated episode, so be sure to let us know what you think about everything, or maybe the most interesting thing that you found about this episode in the comments down below. Comment down below what you thought about certain opinions, or how you feel about certain opinions, because we had a lot of unpopular opinions, a lot of popular opinions. So make sure to let us know down in the comment section below. All the links you can find in the description. Every Wednesday/Thursday we have fantasy football. We have game of the weeks every week. Those have been fucking hysterical to edit and hysterical to watch. And it's also tested my fucking voice acting game, because that's me at the beginning of every episode. But yeah, those are fun to do every Wednesday, Thursday, fantasy football. We love football. We have some fucking characters in our league, so we love giving them the spotlight to talk shit to each other. A lot of family, a lot of friends. So make sure to check those out. Everything will be in the description down below. Make sure to leave a like. Make sure to subscribe if you're new.
If you guys have any opinions on what we talked about today, send us a video with your opinion on whatever platform you follow us on, whether it's Twitter or IG, and then we'll try and post it on here, and we'll re-engage the conversation, and we'll evaluate what your opinion is, and we'll talk about it.
Right.
Send us videos too, because I know you guys struggle with the comments, but if it might be funner if you guys just shoot an opinion out.
Yeah.
A little video.
The least we will do is fucking repost it on the Instagram account. And So give us your opinions. Let us know what you guys think. We appreciate it. That's that.
Yes, sir. Raiders 3-0.
3-0, baby. Let's fucking go. That was fucking gut wrenching, that Miami game. I did not enjoy watching